Pay attention to your pain. Reach out and find your comfort. Take a walk and play some music. Make the time to start the healing. Let the healing begin. Let the healing begin. Look to the sky and breathe it in. Look to the sky and breathe it in. Feel the sunshine on your skin. Feel the sunshine on your skin. And let your life resume again. And let your life resume again. Pay attention to your pain. Reach out and find your comfort. Take a walk and play some music. Make the time to start the healing. Let the healing begin. Let the healing begin. Look to the sky and breathe it in. Look to the sky and breathe it in. Feel the sunshine on your skin. Feel the sunshine on your skin. And let your life resume again. And let your life resume again. Pay attention to your pain. Reach out and find your comfort. Take a walk and play some music. Make the time to start the healing. Let the healing begin. Let the healing begin. Look to the sky and breathe it in. Look to the sky and breathe it in. Feel the sunshine on your skin. Feel the sunshine on your skin. And let your life resume again. And let your life resume again. For this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. And thank you for joining us here at our live Zoom Sunday service of Unity Spiritual Center of San Francisco. I am so glad to see that all of you have found us, old friends and new friends, and we are thrilled you're here as we discover new ways of staying connected during this time. As I look off to whatever direction you have me looking off to on my screen, that's my right side, know that it's because I am scrolling through the gallery and looking at all of your faces. It's always lovely to see you here and know that I am
Hi, Mike. Hi.
in my prayers. So, Jerry, if you can work on muting people as they come in, that would be great. And we are going to be doing that as people come in. We are muting people just so you don't have to worry about any background noise. And there's going to be only two exceptions to that. One is when I ask for a volunteer to read the daily word. And if you would like to volunteer for that and don't happen to have a copy nearby, you can always get that day's reading on dailyword.org. So you can do a quick search right now for dailyword.org if you would like to volunteer to read that. I'll be asking for a volunteer in a few minutes, and we'll take that volunteer off mute. The other time we take people off mute is during our prayer time, when we ask for prayers to be spoken, if you would like to share them with your spiritual community here so that we can support you. To do either of those things, to volunteer for the daily word or for saying a prayer aloud, all you need to do is use the chat section, or you can do the simple wave at the web camera, and we will see you and call on you to do that. But for now, just take a deep breath wherever you are, as we collectively go within our inner sanctuary, where you are always safe, at peace, guided. Just take this time to let go of any worries or concerns and connect virtually with all of us in this community and with the God of your understanding. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we celebrate the truth that our God is love, as expressed in Unity's foundation statement, which you're invited to repeat with me at home. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotent. I am going to put myself on the spotlight video. And as I do so, just invite you to take another deep breath. Become comfortable and gently release any cares of the day. Because the only thing you need to do in this hour is to open yourself up to the love and goodness of the divine as you relax into this sacred time and space at Unity Spiritual Center. For almost 75 years now, we're coming up on our 75th anniversary. We at Unity Spiritual Center have celebrated and honored people of every culture, of every creed, of every religion, of every race, of every age, and every lifestyle, knowing that there are many paths to God, many faces of God, many names for God, but only one God. Seeing through eyes of oneness and acknowledging our oneness, we know that God indwells all people and is expressed through each of us in unique, special, and individual ways. Unity offers positive, practical, progressive spiritual teachings and tools that honor the universal truth in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. So I'm going to light our worship candle as we do every Sunday. It's a very nice visual aid, as you will see in 1 minute. As I hold the candle up to the camera, you can see that flame. And as you see it, remember that you have a divine flame within, that you are a spark of God, an individualized expression of God, and that God does God's work in the world through the movement of your heart and your hands. Our vision here at Unity Spiritual Center, and the opportunity for you and for each one of us here, is that you discover the power within you to create the life of your dreams, that you have peace of mind and deep happiness, that you enjoy joyous and loving relationships with yourself. We sometimes forget that relationship with ourselves is also very important, with spirit and with others, that you spend your days doing what you love and feel called to do, and most of all, that you know that your life matters, that you make a difference, and that the world is a better place because you're here. So let's take a moment now to listen to a wonderful musical selection performed by our music director extraordinaire, Michael Hatfield.
All right, on the menu today is just a little chant, so we're just going to meditate a little bit and get ourselves in the right space. Here we go. I shall open up my mind. I receive and give in kind. Share my knowledge and allow God within me now. I create a living space full of love I shall embrace. There is room for me to grow, so much more to know. I shall open up my mind. I receive and give in kind. Share my knowledge and allow God within me now. I create a living space full of love I shall embrace. There is room for me to grow, so much more to know. I shall open up my mind. I receive and give in kind. Share my knowledge and allow God within me now. I create a living space full of love I shall embrace. There is room for me to grow, so much more to know.
Thank you, Michael. That was beautiful. So now I'm going to ask for a volunteer actually, I'm going to back up one moment. When we hear something that we like, Uh, like we just heard a beautiful piece of music from Michael. Remember that you can always use your reaction button to show some applause and appreciation, or of course we can do that in our webcam. But we are always blessed by the music of Michael. So as we continue to get comfortable and relax even more deeply into this time of worship, prayer, and meditation, let us open our hearts to receive the message of today's daily word. And I am going to take a quick look through the gallery and see if there's anybody who would like to volunteer to read today's daily word. Ethelton Kwan, I see your hand up, so please unmute yourself.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Are you ready?
We're ready.
Today's words are inner peace. The peace of God fills my mind, my heart, and my life. Quiet moments in a fragrant garden, a stroll by a lake or stream, or a visit to any place of beauty inspires a deep awareness of peace. I also enjoy peace in the company of friends, those of whom I have easy camaraderie and deep bonds. Growing in spiritual awareness, I claim inner peace wherever I am. True inner peace comes from deep within me. If I am feeling less than peaceful, I pause and breathe. I breathe out worry, fear, and unhealthy concern. Giving my full attention to the divine presence within me, I breathe in a peace that soothes my emotions, calms my thoughts, and relaxes my body. As I continue to inhale peace and exhale concern, I move forward with renewed clarity and confidence. So from Isaiah 26:3, those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you.
Thank you so much, Ethel. Appreciate your doing that for us. And now is our time of community prayer. But before we begin, of course, I know that we're all so aware that our beautiful state is burning. We can smell it. All we have to do, and sometimes we don't even have to leave our house to smell the smoke in the air and to know that there are people and animals who are suffering right now. So I want all of us to hold them in our prayers as well as the bravery of the firefighters who are coming in even from Australia to help us. And I found a beautiful prayer from Marianne Williamson that I wanted to read at this time. Dear God, as the California fires continue to rage, please send miracles. Send legions of angels to pour water onto the fires and comfort onto our hearts. Bless the people, the animals, and the land at this devastating and fearful time. Place divine protection around our brave and heroic firefighters. May your love shine bright at this awful hour. Please protect your children and give them hope. Thank you, God. Amen. Unity Spiritual Center is a center of prayer and healing. During this time of shelter in place, you are still welcome, always welcome, to send your prayer requests in. You can do that by emailing me or leaving a message on our telephone at church. And right now, Jerry will put those pieces of information in our chat so you have them handy. Our church telephone number and my personal email address so that you can send your prayer requests into us. And of course, you're welcome to use snail mail as well. For now, let's hold the written and the unwritten, the spoken and the unspoken prayer requests of our community in our hearts. And let's know for each one of them that no matter what they're facing, no matter what those challenges are, we affirm and we know that divine order is taking place in their lives and that they are enfolded in divine love. So now is the time to make our prayers audible, to share your prayer needs with our spiritual family here so that we can stand with you and support you. So if you do have a particular prayer request, I'm going to switch us back to gallery view and I'll take a look so that you can indicate either through the chat or through the webcam that you have a prayer request, and I will unmute you so you can share it with us. Before we begin, let's just remember our prayer song. Then Karen goes first. I saw your hand, Karen, all the way from Switzerland. But we will answer each prayer request by singing your prayer is my prayer too, and Michael will give us a reminder of what that sounds like.
We are connected by the heart. Where do you end? Where do I start? Whatever you feel, I feel too. Part of me, I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too.
So now Karen, our beloved international congregation minister coming to us from Switzerland, if you would unmute yourself, we would love to support you in prayer.
Hi, everybody. My prayer is for my friend and coworker Sue. She's at a crossroads in her marriage right now, and my prayer is that the best solution for all concerned is reached.
Your prayer is my prayer too.
Anyone else have a prayer request? Yes, Judy, if you could unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. My nephew Brendan is a firefighter, and my brother Brian and his family are packing their house. They're preparing to evacuate.
Your prayer is my prayer too.
Anyone else with a prayer request that they'd like to share? Just hold your hand up, or, oh, Mary, we'd love to hear from you. Please unmute yourself, and we're saying welcome for the first time to Mary, who is a friend of our spiritual center.
Good morning, everyone. I'm grateful to be here. My prayer that I'd like to offer is for our country, for healing the division and the disease in so many ways of our country.
Thank you.
Your prayer is my prayer too.
And we have two prayer requests that have come in through the chat. One from Marcy, that Lynn, another dear beloved member of our community who just happens to live in San Diego now, the prayer that Lynn can identify a rental home in the San Diego area that is safe, welcoming, has a decent commute, and is affordable, preferably by the end of August.
Your prayer is my prayer too.
We also have a prayer request from Serena, a prayer for all of our well-being, our mental well-being during these times, and prayers for herself for healing. So Serena, we will definitely keep those prayers on our minds and hearts.
Your prayer is my prayer too.
And Kathy is praying for healing and freedom from pain and disability for her beloved Ken in Kansas City. Is affirming, may he be whole and healed and know that he is protected.
Your prayer is my prayer too.
We have another prayer request from Annette in the chat, that Robert has the strength and courage to come today.
Your prayer is my prayer too.
So I'm doing another last view through the gallery to see if there's anybody else with a prayer request that they'd like to share out loud today. Well, as you know, if you've been coming to our services, we also have a time when we invite people to share their blessings, things that they're grateful for, feel blessed by, things that they're thankful for, and if there's anything that you'd like to share with your family here so that we can celebrate with you, this would be your time to do that. Oh, Juanita, do you have something to celebrate?
Yes, I feel so blessed for this time in shelter that have brought so many loved ones together, feeling a closeness that we probably would never have had before. I'm just blessed for the connections and the innovations and the new ideas that have been brought to our minds.
Thank you. That is indeed a blessing. Anyone else? Jerry.
I want to give thanks for the birth of my latest grandnephew, Jack.
Wonderful. We welcome Jack into this world. It makes us more committed to doing the good work, right? When the little ones come in. Yeah, thank you. All right, last call for celebrations. Josephine, we've got two under the wire, Josephine and Ruben.
Mostly Ruben, that Josephine was just using her hand to get attention. I'd like to give thanks to the teachers at our school for our first week and being so dedicated and innovative. I love our teachers, all teachers that provide education for our children.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I would like to thank Ruben for being a wonderful husband and for having meeting 2 of our personal book club yesterday, which was wonderful.
Oh, that's great. And we have one last celebration, Michael, before you start, and that is from your wife, and I'm sure you share this. Grateful that you all got to spend time with your son Zane yesterday. That's wonderful.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We give thanks for this opportunity to bless and be blessed in spirit. We give thanks for the knowledge that when we ask, it will be given to us. When we seek, we shall find. When we knock, the door will be open to us. We give thanks for the feelings of peace and comfort that fill our hearts and minds right now, being a part of this sacred community. We give thanks for the privilege of praying for others in our community, in our nation, and around the world. And we affirm that always and in all ways, no matter what appearances may be, divine love and divine order is everywhere present. And so it is. Amen.
People hand in hand, have I lived to see the milk and honey land, where hate's a dream and love forever stands? Was this a vision in my mind? Law was never passed, but somehow all men feel they're truly free at last. Have we really gone this far through space and time? Or is this a vision in my mind? I'm not one who believes that I know leaves are green. They only turn to brown when autumn comes around. I know just what I say. Today's not yesterday, and all things have an ending. But what I'd like to know, could a place like this exist so beautiful? Or do we have to find our wings and fly away to the vision in our mind? I'm not one who makes believes. I know that leaves are green. They only change to brown when autumn comes around. I know just what I say. Today's not yesterday, and all things have an ending. What I'd like to know, could a place like this exist so beautiful? Or do we have to take our wings and fly away to the vision in our minds? The visions in our minds, the vision in our minds, to the vision in our mind.
Thank you, Michael. That was awesome. So let's express appreciation to Michael. That took me right back to Claremont, California in the late 70s when I started college. I was a huge Stevie Wonder fan, and Songs from the Key of Life came out around that time, and I played that. I think that's from the Inner Visions album, and I played that over and over and over again. That was a perfect selection for what we're talking about today, because we are talking about visionaries, being a visionary, and visions. So I want to begin by reading a vision to you. I was seeing in a sacred manner the shapes of all things in the spirit, and the shape of all shapes as they must live together like one being. And I saw that the sacred hoop of my people was one of many hoops that made one circle, wide as daylight and as starlight. And in the center grew one mightily flowering tree to shelter all the children of one mother and one father. Isn't that a beautiful sacred vision from Black Elk, a holy man or medicine man of the Oglala Lakota people? And clearly he was a visionary. And that quotation was in the visionary chapter of the book we've been studying this year. I'm going to give you a little visual aid, the fourfold way. My pages are yellowed. I've had this for about 25 years now. And it was written by cultural anthropologist and my former teacher and mentor, the late Angelus Arian. So as you know, if you've been to a Sunday service before in 2020, I chose this book because way back in 2019, it seemed like that would be a very good book to study in 2020, which is an election year, as you know. It just seemed like it'd be a great time to be studying the archetypes of the warrior, also referred to as the leader, the teacher, the healer, and the visionary. And once again, I've got to say how amazed I've been at how this focus has dovetailed so perfectly with the events that we've been facing in our country, which we had no way of really foreseeing. We looked at the way of the warrior or the leader in the first quarter, which had a lot of relevance because of all the political news and the Democratic debates. During the second quarter, when the entire world got shut down because of a global pandemic, we explored the way of the healer. And now, in this quarter that is going to end in September, we are going to take a look at the way of the visionary. I began with a vision from Black Elk to his people. And we now have entered a time in our country and our world where we too must envision the kind of world we want to build once we are able to safely leave our homes again and re-enter and probably remake our institutions. The fundamental principle of the visionary is tell the truth without blame or judgment. When we follow the way of the visionary, we are able to make truth visible. As Angelus writes, all cultures respect the importance of vision and its capacity to magnetize or open up the creative spirit. The archetype of the visionary is familiar to us all as that sometimes quiet but relentless reminder not to forget our life dream or purpose. She goes on to say that it is important to bring one's creative spirit, life dream, or purpose to earth. Not to do so precludes healing from coming into our family and our professional lives. Healing because it's believed that each one of us brings our own brand of original medicine into the world. Our work, she writes, is to come fully forward with our gifts, talents, and resources, and to meet our tests and challenges. And God God knows, and you know, that we are certainly being tested and challenged right now. And the world needs your original medicine. Gandhi recognized the simple truth when he said, "My life is my message." Ingrained into the way of the visionary is authenticity. In order to walk the way of the visionary, we must be our authentic selves. Angelus reminds us that every day we have the choice of whether to come from our authentic self or our false self. And according to her studies, the majority of spiritual traditions cite two patterns that can take us out of our authentic self, our true nature: the patterns of denial and the patterns of indulgence. And Angelus outlines those patterns in this way. We express denial in our lives when we avoid certain people or issues, and when we see things only as we want them to be rather than accept them as they are. Underneath every denial pattern is the underlying fear that we will not be able to handle conflict, and a deep human need to maintain peace, balance, and harmony at all costs. In deep denial, we will abandon ourselves to keep the peace rather than communicate our feelings directly. Now, I want to ask, did any of you also watch the Democratic National Convention last week? I'm not going to scroll through, but go ahead and wave your hand if you did. And maybe you didn't, but you saw former First Lady Michelle Obama's speech on social media. In her speech, she talked about the phrase that she used at the last Democratic National Convention. It was the motto of the Obamas, she said. "When they go low, we go high." Now, she returned to that motto in her speech to say that in the last 4 years, people have been asking her, do we still go high? Even in the face of what we've been seeing in the highest levels of our political system? And in her speech just a few days ago, Michelle said yes, we still go high. But going high doesn't mean what a dear friend of mine refers to as putting whipped cream on the garbage. Michelle said that we still need to call things out when they are wrong. And one can do that while still remaining high. And when we are able to do that, we are demonstrating the way of the visionary. The other pattern that keeps us from authentic living is patterns of indulgence. And as Angelus writes, we express indulgence when we dramatize or sensationalize our experience. Often we exaggerate a situation or an issue in order to seek attention. Angelus writes that underneath this pattern is a high need for approval and acceptance that is ruled either by the fear of not being seen or the fear of being seen. She goes on to say that because they are terrified of their own feelings of insecurity or vulnerability, they use exaggeration as a way to hide those feelings. So as we go through our exploration of the visionary, take a look at your own life to examine those patterns, the patterns of denial and the patterns of indulgence. Where in your life might you be playing out one or both of those patterns? As Angelus reminds us, it's important to overcome those so that we can live from our authentic selves. Because she says the field of unlimited creativity is always available when we are connected to our authenticity, when we have broken those patterns. And authenticity means to tell the truth without blame or judgment. In fact, in some Native cultures, speaking the truth is called speaking with spirit tongue. Yet, we do want to be mindful of how we tell the truth. We need to remember that the second part of tell the truth without blame or judgment includes that without blame or judgment clause. So what are some examples of speaking with spirit tongue, of telling the truth without blame or judgment? Angelus gives some examples, and I pulled a few of them out. I'm jealous and afraid of losing you. I feel so judgmental and critical right now that I don't trust what will come out of my mouth. I don't know where I stand with you. This mode of communication doesn't work for me. Now, these are just a few examples of how it is possible to say what is so without abandoning our own ideas or feelings. But Angelus also adds that communication that carries integrity also considers timing and context before the delivery of content. And some of you may remember I once did a lesson that worked with the Buddhist principles of right speech. You know, that you ask yourself some questions before you speak. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? And this is very much aligned with what Angelus is writing about. She said, direct communication, giving voice to what we see without blame or judgment, means we consider the alignment of appropriate word choice, tone of voice, and body posture. We need to consider whether it's the right time or place for our communication, or else it won't be heard, or else it might even do damage. So acting from our authentic self, knowing and communicating our creative purpose and life dream, telling the truth without blame or judgment, these are the foundation of the way of the visionary. When our self-worth is at least as strong as our self-critic, then we can really put our creativity and our vision to work. Because, as the Spanish proverb says, if you are not good for yourself, how can you be good for others? May we resolve to offer our original medicine to the world. May we come fully forward with our gifts and our talents to meet the challenges of today's world. May our lives be our message. And so it is. Amen. So, as our guided meditation today, I decided I wanted to do something different because for 3 quarters now we have been studying the work of Angelus Arian, and yet you haven't been able to really experience her because she did make her transition back in 2014. So I pulled out a video that's introduced by a former colleague of mine. I used to be the director of marketing for the Institute of Noetic Sciences, and I worked with Marilyn Schlitz, who at the time was the director of research, and she put together this interview with Angelus. So I'm introducing you both to a former co-worker, Marilyn Schlitz, and also to my dearly beloved and much missed teacher and mentor, Angelus Arian. And she is going to give you some questions that I think will be very useful meditations for every single day.
In this segment, Angelus Arian, cultural anthropologist and educator, leads us through 2 short practices derived from diverse wisdom traditions. They're designed to help us practice intention, reflection, and inquiry. These practices can be performed anytime, anywhere. The purpose is to inspire and empower yourself and others to feel comfort, a sense of peace, renewal, and balance.
I'm Angela Sarian, and it's an honor and privilege today to share 2 perennial wisdom practices from around the world. One comes from the philosopher Spinoza, when someone had asked him, how do you track meaning, or what has fire or heart for you? And Spinoza said, well, that's going to take me a year to really consider. And we'll come back in a year and we'll have a symposium. And I will work for a year about what could really help us all as human beings track meaning. And he came back and he said that there are actually 3 questions that every individual should ask themselves at the end of each day. Spinoza said, it's important to ask yourself the question every day at the end of the day, what made me happy today? Not who made me happy, but what made me happy. One of the great illusions is that we feel that other people are responsible for our happiness. No one is responsible for our happiness except ourselves. And so it's very important. Spinoza said, what made me happy today, so that we look beyond happiness being generated from our relationship lines. So just take a few moments and consider today, what made me happy? And the second question, where did I experience comfort, peace, balance, a sense of solace and sanctuary today? And the final question that Spinoza said would always help us track meaning or what has fire is who or what inspired me today? So just take a moment and reflect on these 3 great questions that track fire or meaning or heart. The spiritual traditions of the world talk about the 4 fires: the fire of vision, the fire of the heart, the creative fire, and the soul's fire. And these 3 questions align us with our fire. What made me happy today? Where did I experience comfort and peace and a sense of solace today? And who or what inspired me today? The other perennial wisdom that I'd like to share as a tool, besides these 3 great questions, is many of the traditional peoples of the world say that there are 3 things that we must do every day in order to create the blessing way. And if we want to have the experience of blessing in our life every day, in our families, in our communities, in our organizations, there are 3 things that we must do every day. We must pray every day or set sacred intention. So what are the ways that I set sacred intention? Is it through prayer? Is it through invocation? Is it through saying a silent affirmation? But we must set sacred intention every day. Nelson Mandela asked all of the townships of South Africa to set sacred intention every day through the Truth and Reconciliation Commission when he said he wanted everyone just to say this 3-line invocation or prayer every day, which was, let us take care of the children, for they have a long way to go. Let us take care of the elders, for they have come a long way. And let us take care of those in between, for they are doing the work. The second thing that we must do is to give gratitude every day. Just the practice of gratitude keeps the heart open. It's impossible to give gratitude from a closed heart. And so if there would just be one practice that we could do every day is to give gratitude after we've set sacred intention or stated an invocation or an entreaty or an intention. And the third and final thing that would create a blessing way is to take a life-affirming action every day. And life-affirming actions can be anonymous acts of kindness. They can also be a place where my integrity is stronger than my fear, or compassionate action that alleviates suffering through the day. So if we want the blessing way to come into our lives every day, there are 3 things we must do. We must set sacred intention, and what is my repertoire for prayer or for affirmation. We must give gratitude every day, and we must take life-affirming actions every day. So these 2 tools, one, the 3 great questions, and the 3 great actions of setting a blessing way, enhances character development and coming back into what the Lakota traditions would call our sacred hoop, that we come into the center of who we are, or the core of who we are. And so with these 3 great questions and 3 compassionate actions, we have an incredible opportunity to be a unifying, creating force in the world and to help uplift the human spirit. It's an honor and privilege to share these 2 great tools, and I hope that you find great inspiration and commitment to be a compassionate force in the world, and also to bring your best self forward into the world.
Thank you for playing that, and it just seemed like that was the best way that I could introduce you to Angelus, and also give you a wonderful, useful meditation to use not just today, but every night of your life if you so choose. And as you could see from the video, Angelus was such an amazing person. She had such wisdom, and was just a font of information that you would want to immediately write down and take notes on. But she was so humble and modest. There was not a trace of arrogance in her. And every time you tried to give her a compliment, she would immediately turn it back and say, well, it takes one to know one. So I feel very blessed to have had the opportunity not only to study with her, but also to work for her. I worked in her office for 2 years, and I count myself blessed. So it was a joy to introduce you to my teacher. So let's now affirm who we are, who we are as a community. And I'm going to put it on gallery view so we can see all your faces as we say this. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we are an ocean of love. Here, I feel like the hand gestures, Michael, that was good. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we have an inspiring vision, an exciting mission, and compelling values by which we strive to live. Our vision is centered in God. We co-create a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our mission is we are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love. And our values are we are spirit-led, generous with resources, we're inclusive, joyously creative, and guided by integrity. And feeling inspired by our vision, mission, and values, feeling enriched by what we've experienced here today and what we will continue to experience as we meet after the service in our community group. Let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. Now, what I want to say to you is thank you. Thank you for all of those who have remembered us through this time. Some of you have been sending in continual donations, and we're so grateful for those. But I do want to tell you that we are on a downward trend. In June, we lost $2,500. In July, we got the figures, and we were down $3,000. So we really do need everyone who feels moved to support our work, people who have felt moved by what they've experienced, either in our Sunday services or our book studies, to please contribute what you can, because this really is a downward trend that we don't want to see continue. So with that, we are having Jerry put in the chat the direct link to our page where you can donate online. You also, of course, can send checks in the mail. However you choose to donate, just know we are very grateful for it. And let's bless those love offerings, either metaphorically or actually by placing them in our hands or next to our hearts as we say our offertory prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
I search for truth, I search for clarity. I will uncover my life's road. Where there is doubt, where there is mystery, I know that God is in control. I open up my hidden secrecy, reveal my one and only goal. Let God's love enter ever peacefully, make my mind and body whole. In the stillness, in the quiet, all is holy, all is love. As the light shines through the window to my soul. God has a plan that lies in store for me. I'm sure I'll find which way to go. I could be changing someone's destiny that I might never really know. God gives me peace and security. God gives me everything I need. if I wander, if I lose my way, I'll soon be following God's lead. In the stillness, in the quiet, all is hope, all is love, as the light shines through the window to my soul. In the stillness, in the quiet, all is holy, all is love, as the light shines through the window to my soul.
Thank you, Michael. That was really lovely. All of the music today was perfect. So please join with me in blessing our offering. Spirit of the living God, bless the acts of our hands, our minds, our hearts. May everything offered here at Unity Spiritual Center be a reflection of all that is good within us. Grant us the courage to patiently listen for the stirring of your presence. Enliven our spirits with humor. Fill us with reverence for one another and gratitude for our diversity. May unity, beauty, and truth be the fruit of all we do. And so it is. Amen. Thank you to everybody who helped us put on the service today, to Michael for his wonderful musical selections, compositions, and performances, to Marcy for doing our beautiful slides and always feeding us visually through those, to Jerry, who plays such an important function in helping us navigate these Zoom meetings. Many, many thanks to all of you. Of course, we will be continuing in a more informal way as we get together in our hospitality meeting, which will be following the service. We'll take a 3-minute break and then we'll come back on this same link. No need to go anywhere. We're just going to take a short break to get a cup of coffee or whatever, and then we'll come back. I want to say something very important. Evidently, not everybody is getting our newsletter, and so I want to give you a helpful hint. I am now sending that out on Wednesdays. So on Wednesday, I am sending out the e-letter that has the new Zoom link for the upcoming Sunday's service. So if you do not get a newsletter on Wednesday, please don't hesitate to email me. And I know that Jerry put my email address up earlier in the chat. Maybe he could do that again. It's uscsf@att.net. But don't hesitate to email me on a Thursday if you did not get the link to the service, because we definitely want you here and we are sending it out. But for some reason, we're having a few glitches with people receiving it. So wanted to say that. As you will find out when you get that, or if you got it, we do have our daily word reading and guided meditation Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon. I am using the old link for that so that people don't have to, always get a new link. So that's using our old link. And again, if you don't have that, just let me know. I'm happy to forward it on to you, but it will always be included in that newsletter, that electronic newsletter or newsletter, whatever you want to call it, that goes out on Wednesdays. We have a YouTube channel. Do a search for Unity Spiritual Center of San Francisco. You'll find, 150 plus Sunday lessons, as well as offerings from Michael, Helen Yee, her self-care workshop, and me. And we're also active on social media, looking for ways to have other communication devices for people who aren't on Facebook, Instagram, or Pinterest. So with that, let's see what kids we may have so we can bless them. I'm going to put it back on gallery view to see if I see, I see Alonso and Santiago. Excellent. And there's Alex. So we've got all our beautiful young men on the call. Let us bless them. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the presence of God in you, empowering you to do great things. So with that, let's sing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
So let us go in to this day, the rest of our day, and into this week, knowing that the world deeply needs our original medicine. And let us know, as we resolve anew to offer it, that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Thank you, God. Thank all of you for joining us. And we'll take a 3-minute break, and we'll see you soon on the Hospitality Hour, same link.
We'll see what we got in store today. We're going Sinatra, believe it or not. Because we can. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what life is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, please kiss me. Fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what life is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, please kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true, darling. In other words, other words, darling, I